Neuroscientists have found the trunk line serving the emotional center of your child's brain actually functions in a very similar way as our phone lines. But unlike our phone lines, the type of emotional message we send to our children through the course of the day can actually build, strengthen, or even weaken the neural pathways of understanding. It's like the trunk lines can actually grow or shrink with experience. Sound a little confusing? Let's bring some clarity to this amazing aspect of emotional message sending. I think every parent is probably familiar with the scenario. You're sitting with your little toddler and he's playing with his little see-and-say and pulls the knob and he begins to enjoy the animal sounds. Then he notices how excited you are on his behalf as you are joining in with his excitement, clapping your hands or laughing along with him. Now, what is happening during this exchange? Well, his emotion of joy is being met with your emotion of joy. Your response in that moment reinforces his emotion, or to stay with the metaphor, it is actually strengthening the transmission line, and this is very positive. But think about this. What would happen if in that moment you showed no emotion or you showed disapproval? Research seems to indicate that if a positive emotional signal is not met by another similar positive signal, then the power of the first emotion can be suppressed or lost. So instead of receiving a message of affirmation for what the child is doing, the child receives a message of disapproval or indifference. And that is a competing message, not one that complements. And over time, if those oppositional messages that are constantly coming towards the child, they will eventually weaken the child's understanding of approval and acceptance. So what does this mean? If your child is joyful, be joyful with him. If your child is excited about a discovery, well, be excited with him. In this way, you are encouraging his joy and excitement, which shows him the value of those emotions. Now, let me give you this caution. Neuroscientists are not telling parents to avoid all negative emotions that potentially come up during the day, but rather make it a point, when appropriate, to reflect back to your child the positive emotions that he is experiencing. Here's the balance. Parents should reinforce right patterns that come from right behavior, but do not reinforce negative patterns of wrong behavior. If your child displays anger, for example, well, counter with gentle words, which often mute anger. In fact, Proverbs 15:1 reminds us that a soft answer discourages anger. There's a lot of great parenting advice in that one verse. Think about it. Do you know anyone who has flashpoints of anger, sometimes over something as innocent as a child spilling a glass of milk or accidentally stepping on a recently planted flower? There is this unexpected blow-up that you just don't understand where it comes from. Or have you ever heard yourself say in less than gentle tones, "Now look what you have done"? How many times must a child hear an angry response before an anger response becomes part of the child's life? Children do need to be corrected when they do things wrong, but if a child is constantly corrected in anger or berated or ridiculed or overly punished, then it's the anger message that's reinforced over and over again on those developing trunk lines, especially during those very impressionable early years of childhood. And that pattern, that secret wound, is carried into adulthood. Now, here's what happens. Instead of a child equating wrong behavior with consequences, which is where the lesson lies, the child begins to equate any and all wrong behavior with anger. So learning right from wrong is diminished because the child is not gearing up for moral correction, but really for emotional protection. Listen, you do need to correct your children, but a soft answer will get the job done while sending the right message. At the same time, please remember, there is a difference between an angry response and a response of urgency. Sometimes a raised voice of concern is absolutely necessary.
We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to see more, and check out the growingfamilies.life website to find more resources and to get connected.